Thanks for joining us and Happy New Year. I'm Cody Holyoke. In just 3 days, lawmakers will gavel into Jeff City and get to work on issues that affect people across the state. But this time, the Kansas City Metro will be represented in a big way. In fact, local lawmakers are expected to take 3 of the 4 main leadership jobs in the General Assembly this session. That's quite a feather in Casey's cap and could have some major implications down the line. Let's start in the state Senate. Parkville Republican Senator Tony Luetkemeyer will be the majority floor leader this session. He'll now have a direct role in steering the flow of bills through the Senate and directing the schedule for floor debates. He tells me he'll also work to break up the legislative gridlock within the Republican Party.
What we want to get away from is the type of sustained dysfunction that we've seen in years past. My solution is pretty simple. It's to have an open line of communication with all the members of the caucus to make sure I understand their concerns in advance before we get a bill to the floor, to make sure that we're working collaboratively to address those concerns to the best of our ability.
The senator says he'll get to work right away on improving public safety with a slate of ideas meant to attract new officers to the police force. Taxes are also top of mind, and he says the Senate will work to limit the scope of abortions in Amendment 3. We'll get to that in a moment. It also looks like the Missouri House will have local leadership, something we haven't seen in a very long time. Lee Summit Representative John Patterson is expected to take the gavel as House Speaker this week. He acknowledges the history being made and promised to make the Kansas City area a priority moving forward.
For some reason in Jackson County, we have not had a speaker since 1857, I believe. So one of the things that you notice in Jefferson City is everybody talks about St. Louis, St. Louis, St. Louis. I'm happy that in the next 2 years, they'll be talking about Kansas City a lot.
Representative Patterson is poised to be Speaker, but he might still have a bit of an uphill battle. There's been some strife among Republicans these past few weeks, and even talk of a long-shot challenge to the speakership from a St. Louis area Republican. It all started right before the November election, after Patterson made these comments on Amendment 3, the move to reverse the state's abortion ban.
We should respect the will of the people, and we will. It'll be the law of the land, and we have to go forward as the people decide.
On the Democratic side, Representative Crystal Quade is termed out, leaving room for a fresh face to take up the mantle as House Minority Leader in Missouri. And it's another politician from our area. Platte County Representative Ashley Aune will begin her 3rd term in the House as leader of her party in the House. And she joins us now here on Heart of the Matter ahead of a busy season. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I know it's going to be a little bit of chaos in Jeff City this week, especially. Your counterpart, who we just heard from, Representative Patterson, who's poised to be Speaker, has said that having Kansas City in this conversation and being represented in leadership roles like this is very important. What's your take on that? How do you feel about this whole thing? Because there are many, many positions filled by local people now.
Absolutely. I think that this is a huge opportunity for Kansas City, having Speaker Patterson from Lee Summit and being as passionate as he is about the Kansas City area, as well as my leadership in the Northland. And not for nothing, but Senator Tony Luetkemeyer is going to be the majority leader in the Senate. So all of that concentrated power here in Kansas City, and the chair of the Legislative Black Caucus is here in Kansas City as well. That's a lot of opportunity for us to work together across the aisle to make our city a little bit better.
How do you push Kansas City area priorities? Like, what's top of your list right now?
Well, I think that the Chiefs and the Royals staying around is a pretty big deal, as well as the World Cup coming up in 26. There's a lot of planning we need to do as a city, and there's a lot we need to shore up from the state's perspective to make sure that not only is everyone having a great time, but everyone's safe in our city and feels comfortable.
We talk about the Chiefs and Royals a lot here. Kansas, as you know, has that Star Bond incentive, and the clock's still running on that. What is Missouri's response to that come session time when you gavel in?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I really do think it depends a lot on the new administration. The Kehoe administration is going to play a huge role in that. But I also think that going back to where we started, having solid leadership from the area is going to, I think, do us a lot of favors in the legislature. There's often a big push and pull between the state and the city, and I'm hoping that we can kind of lay that to rest a little bit with this leadership team.
Protecting reproductive rights is a huge part of your platform, as it was for your predecessor, Representative Quade. Republicans not named John Patterson have said that they are going to try to challenge us a little bit and restrict it. And we've seen some bills pre-filed already, and I'm sure you've seen more than we have, that are taking aim at least restricting the right to abortion. How do you, in a supermajority that is Republican, try to hold your ground?
Well, I think that, I've served in the super minority for 4 years, so this is not new to me. Right. But being up against a fight like abortion is a really big deal, obviously. We're all nervous that one or more of these initiatives is going to, gain a little momentum and get across the finish line. However, my biggest plan right now is to just watch and wait, because the supermajority, in my experience, has been so discombobulated, for lack of a better word, that they don't have an actual plan here. They have a lot of different ideas about how to undo what the will of the voters just told us they wanted, but they don't have one clear path to getting that done. And so I'm sort of waiting and watching to see what exactly they do, if anything, because I'm not certain that they have what it takes to get anything across the finish line.
Well, we saw a lot of gridlock, especially last year on the Senate side, among Republicans, kind of gumming up the works for them, trying to raise the voter threshold and that sort of thing. Being a Democrat, as you said, you've lived it, right, as a super minority. I like how you put that. How do you try to work with Republicans across the aisle? Because you're going to need some of their votes to push your party platform. How do you do that?
Oh, well, it can be challenging, obviously. But one of the things that I enjoy most about this job is the fact that I get to know folks from all over the state. Folks who live differently than I do, whose families have different experiences than mine, and who have different ideas about how we make the state better. And I like to give them the opportunity to say their piece and to share why they view the issues the way they do. And then I would like to share my piece, right? That's the whole point of a legislature. And so getting to know these folks, getting to know their families, getting to know their priorities, and really understanding where they're coming from and what they're trying to do, to me is the best way. Building relationships is the only way to get something done in Jefferson City.
What would you consider a win this session?
I think a win would be keeping abortion off the ballot again, not doing anything to the initiative petition process like they've been trying to do for the last several years, and really holding the line on some public safety issues that we're worried about, especially the police takeover of St. Louis. That's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. And will you push back on Kansas City as well, because we're kind of in that same boat, being run by the state?
Yeah, absolutely, and I have for the last 4 years. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and they're going after St. Louis now. So, that's, I think, the big challenge. Democrats really have to play strong defense in Jefferson City, and we do that pretty well.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. House Minority Leader-elect Ashley Aune, thank you so much for your time, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much.
The 2025 legislative session starts Wednesday at noon. A week from Monday, Governor-elect Mike Kehoe will take the oath along with others elected to statewide office. Session runs through the middle of May with a veto session in September.